Hey guys, this is Quetz, and today we're going to be doing a Peach moveset tier list. So I'm not going to waste any time with how this works. I think you already know. We're going to jump straight into things with Peach's jab, which I would put in A tier. One of the two frame jabs in the game, unlike some of the other jabs that tend to pop characters up. This one's more of a disruption tool for Peach. You can usually follow Peach's jab up with a down smash, grab, down tilt is a decent mix up, especially on shield as well. The way that jab interacts with floaties is it tends to pop them up a little bit higher, so things like jab down smash become a little bit easier to connect. But most characters, even Spaceys, will have usually the jab will have jammed their inputs if it has worked as intended. And so landing things like jab down smash is still a big threat. And of course, down smashing Spaceys, they'll tend to respect the threat and not try and engage too hard. There's it's a pretty good mix-up tool as well after float cancelled aerials, especially float cancelled aerials that have uh, hit too high on shield or have just come in too close or at a bad angle, where you don't have enough time to reasonably get out anything like down smash or especially grab or even move away. Although the big weakness of this move is that it does lose quite bad to opponents holding shield and uh, any ASDI down options as well, especially against characters like Falcon, uh, who love to CC or ASDI down grab things, even out of shield. The second hit, though, can act as a bailout to these kind of situations, especially if you stagger the input slightly. So it's good that the jab has that kind of one last ditched attempt to save itself. And the good thing about that second hit as well, on fast fallers, it can lead to a tech punish because it tends to knock them down, and it's quite a hard tech to get sometimes. But when after, say, Fox or Falco get hit by the second hit of the jab, they touch the ground very quickly. So, and it's such an unusual situation that they tend to miss it quite a bit, which allows you to do a float cancelled nair to punish the miss tech and get the kill at those kind of percentages. Um, Against Marth as well, I've noticed that if they hold in, you can double jab and it combos directly into a nair. You don't see it too often, but it can occur, especially near the edge of the stage, a scuffle near the edge where Peach does a turnaround double jab against a rising up B that's just overshot or something like that, and they're trying to quickly punish before Marth touches down on the ground. Um, and generally, it can be used as a situational edge guarding tool as well. So the main weakness to this move is that the risk reward can sometimes not be that great. It doesn't get that great of a reward, and sometimes you can end up converting good openings like a float cancelled aerial on shield into a big negative where you could have just down smashed or grabbed instead. Still a solid move, and you'll be using it throughout. But it does, like I said, tend to get punished at higher levels a lot more and feel less safe. Forward tilt. I think this move is uh, very niche, very situational in its application. The main one I'm thinking of is the scoop kind of forward tilt, like a Marth up tilt effect, where it drags opponents back towards her. This is exclusively on Fox and Falco, pretty much. In a probably Falcon too, but in a situation where you're following up on a platform. I've made a video about this one before. I've been able to execute this a few times in matches, and I've seen a few other people on uh, doing clips where they've done the same thing. I think because it's a proactive kind of move that you can insert into a combo tree at a very specific moment, it's easy to remember when to do it. much like how you remember to do a reverse soft hit bear into a nair or something like that. Of course, it has much limited times to be able to use it, but because it has that property of being able to scoop someone back and answer that away DI, especially on stages like Yoshi's, where if there's that forward tilt can lead into things like up smash and directly into the KO. I can foresee in the future that this could be a mainstay in platform combo follow-ups. There's also some potential with up throw forward tilt as a tech trap, but in my experience of trying this on Fox and Falco, it seems to have pretty inconsistent results, and I think it's just a way to avoid having to do a real follow up like a tech chase, which Peach players tend to not want to do as much because it feels like you want to get the more guaranteed thing rather than uh, leave it up to chance. Um, Another thing to be said about forward tilt is because it accidentally comes out sometimes when attempting to do a dash attack, it's not the worst thing to accidentally get sometimes. And I've had plenty of times where I've accidentally done forward tilt and it worked out great. Forward tilt on FD directly into a chain grab and things like that. Landing an accidental forward tilt isn't the end of the world. It's surprisingly awkward to punish when it lands on shield sometimes too. A little bit deceptive there. So it's not the worst accidental move, considering it's probably going to be our most common accidental move as well. Uh, Up tilt, this is probably Peach's worst move. You never see it, and for good reason. Peach's up tilt is pretty much entirely redundant, uh, or made redundant by her up air, which is way better. Um, there's practically nothing to say about this move. It has the property of having the invincible head, but if you are in any position to say predict a Falco falling down on you with down air and then trying to beat it with up tilt, which is entirely possible. But if you could see that coming, you have more than enough time to simply just move out of the way or do something else. I think it's just far too risky. And even if you do land this move, it has this awkward lag at the end of it that makes it quite difficult to even follow up. Sometimes it's just not very good. I mean, I can imagine very specific situations like that where maybe this could technically be something, but the problem is, unlike F tilt, which has some proactive purpose, up tilt would be mostly reactive, which means you're probably guessing, which means it's just adding to a mental stack of reactions or things you could have done instead. And I just don't think it's worth it, even if you could imagine a situation where it could be the right thing to do. You're better off not even having that clutter your mind at that time. Down tilt, I think that this is a solid move, a big high reward move with really not that much in terms of the risk as well. The wind up is not even that long. The range is quite it's quite a bit. I think it's actually slightly longer than down smash from memory, and there's a little bit of a pullback at the start as well. So um, you can actually evade some grabs where Peach will slightly pull back and then down tilt. It can work against Sheik especially. Uh, big A big deal in the Sheik matchup, just because of the way that Sheik can't really aerial drift that well into Peach and tends to uh, drop her aerial short in front of Peach, which you can punish, especially back air. Um, Landing this, especially against floaties, is some of the only ways that you get big damage. Um, Very safe against wave dash floaty characters on shield, rather than down smashing, which they can punish with a wave dash in. Characters like Luigi, Ice Climbers, and the like. Um, Down tilt keeps it safe and will lead to a bigger reward against those characters as well. Um, the kill potential of this move is excellent as well. Fast fallers can be killed with down tilt into charged up smash, especially the sweet spot of up smash as well. You can land, and it kills very early on stages like FD if you can space it well. Against characters like Marth and Sheik, you can land down tilt into double jump up air. Sometimes you might need to use platforms to assist, but it can kill pretty reliably as well. Also, a good punish on the same character's recoveries. So Sheik recovering onto stage, especially at that kind of low percent where you can't really get her off stage, you can take the down tilt damage instead. Down tilt into whatever is usually a better option. There's also increased potential with this move with regards to edge guarding, especially Fox side B. I think there's been a bit of a trend away from relying on Turnip to cover side B because it can only really cover side B at a certain timing. I think we'll be seeing Peaches run to the edge first with the edge guarding a lot of the time these days, and then preparing for down tilt or down air, and then reacting if the Fox does something else, because it seems like the Foxes are just avoiding the Turnip coverage entirely now, and I rarely see it work anymore, and it rarely seems to work for me, even at in my region. So yeah, it's becoming more versatile. It's a great way to also mix up your gameplay. If you find yourself kind of in a cycle, a pattern cycle, and the gameplay has staled, I think starting to throw out some down tilts, fishing for some down tilts can really mix things up again and bring some big reward. Oh, it's also shield pokes really well too. Um, some characters that shield pokes at point blank, like Falco, which I think it's actually quite underrated mix up against hold shield, float cancel aerial down tilt versus Falco's hold shield. It pokes Peach as well. Tall characters get poked. And also Marth as well gets poked from the front of his shield. And generally it's just hard to punish Peach's down tilt if it's spaced on shield very well. Down tilt into jab, down tilt sequence is a little bit of a tricky kind of frame trap, if I can use that term for that sequence. It does work fairly well. Dash attack, S tier. Peach's dash attack has amazing hitboxes. It's easily the best dash attack in the game. It's got 4 different kinds of hitboxes, and we see them used in different ways. But the hard hit, the early hard hit of dash attack is the one that we think of when we think of this move, and it's great for comboing fast fallers. It pseudo combos some other characters like Marth and Sheik at certain percents as well. And sometimes pseudo combo is just as good as a real combo because it puts the opponent in a situation where they have to decide whether to risk trying to jump out and losing their jump, which some of those characters really do not want to lose, and so they may intentionally take the second hit, which works out well for us either way. But even without landing the hard hit on a fast faller and not being able to combo, it's just a good way to be able to compete on the ground with characters who might be aggressing on you on the ground, and to just quickly snuff that idea right out, even if you can't do any follow up. Even against a floater, you can do something like dash attack into a pull turnip, which is pretty decent, and then shark from there, or even just go straight into the sharking them with aerials. The side hit, the hard side hit of dash attack, I think is really underrated. The hard side hit is just a great way to keep pushing your opponent towards the edge. And I think we're going to see a lot more deliberate side hits going forward. I know that Armada was very good at deliberately side hitting, especially in certain edge guards. For example, Sheik Marth, they're up being to the edge, you roll on stage, they are forced to the edge. And because you've rolled, your best option is to go for side hit dash attack, side hard hit dash attack, and push them back off. And sometimes that can just straight up be the kill. It's a good way to call out people drifting to the edge Falcon, Fox, and that like, and the like rather. If you see them drifting to the edge, you call them out with hard side hit dash attack, and then that will just kill them straight away. So um, the other thing is with dash attack as well is sometimes it's Peach's only way to follow up something up. So it's kind of an essential move sometimes when the opponent has just moved too far out of the way, and the only thing you can do to end your combo or to punish a tech is dash attack, and you're better off just taking that free damage and usually the stage position as well by throwing that move out. Really, it can KO's enemy Peaches and Puffs as well, so that's always a nice little bonus. Sorry, a little technical difficulty there, but yeah, it can be used as a KO move on floaties, especially on stages like FD or Yoshi's as well. So that's always a nice little bonus. It's got the soft hit for people landing on top of it, so finishing up chain grab extensions or catching someone landing, you get the soft hit of the dash attack with them landing on top, and that leads to some of the easiest follow-ups you'll see. The soft hit at the end is also really good for just the lingering hitbox to cover things like spot dodge. Can sometimes clip them right at the end of the animation and just make it that little bit awkward to punish the move in general because people are usually not expecting a move to last that long. The move does have the weakness of being easily punished if shielded, but I think that's a fair trade-off for just how many things this move achieves and how fast it is as well. That's another thing. The fact that Peach can threaten it out of a dash dance at any point while she's dashing, the opponent has to respect the possibility of a sudden dash attack at any point, which is really good. Forward smash, I would say that forward smash is also situational, like Peach's F tilt, but it is uh, more reward for when it does land. The best examples I can think of when to use forward smash is against Sheik and Falcon, especially, but similar characters where you knock them off the stage, usually with something like um, down smash at low percents near the edge, so they're facing the wrong way, and they try and double jump back to the stage and hit you with back air, either to get you away from the edge or to land on stage with it. You can then immediately predict this and punish with forward smash, and if you get tennis racket, it will kill them instantly at pretty much any percent as well. So it's really deadly at low percents near the edge, and for that reason alone, because the reward is so high if it works, it's absolutely worth checking your opponent with every now and again in that situation, because even if you don't get tennis racket, which for some reason I seem to get a lot in that situation, the golf club still adequately covers, it still hits them away enough, and the frying pan is just going to lead to a combo. So most of the time, it's going to be really good outcome in that situation, and the disjointed hitbox and the slight lean back on the forward smash as well keeps it quite safe. Um, even if it doesn't hit, forward smash has very little cooldown, so you're going to be quite safe against it being punished. That's actually in general, like on shield, if you accidentally or deliberately forward smash someone and it hits their shield because of the variable um, hit stun, because the different moves have different hit stun, your opponent will kind of struggle to punish it, and combined with the cooldown, yeah, it's surprisingly difficult to punish this move when it's just thrown out. Um, there's also, of course, potential with forward smash against enemy floaties, especially enemy Peach and Puff as well. If they're being predictable about their movement into you, you can cover that aerial space with a forward smash, and because it's disjointed as well, it can straight up beat up. It can straight up beat out some of their aerials. If the enemy Peaches use both float and double jump and you hit her with tennis racket, that can take the stock right there as well. So there's some good stuff that can happen in that regard. I think there's some other potential with forward smash near platforms, especially Fountain of Dreams. If the platform is very low, the forward smash should be able to cover most of the platform without Peach having to commit too much. And once again, the dual threat of uh, tennis racket or frying pan, both outcomes being fine for us, is worth it. And the golf club is always a kind of, well, at least they hit them kind of answer if it does work. I could see some more potential for situations for this move, but it's hard to be proactive with it. It is a reactive move, I feel, a lot of the time. Um, one very fringe idea I have is about the potential of this move against Sheik as a potential float cancel aerial follow up. I know that sounds a bit outlandish, but when you think about it, Sheik can't really do too much about it. If she jumps, she'll get hit. If she tries to shield grab, she'll get hit. Um, and if she stays in shield, then she'll struggle to punish the move as well. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting idea, but yeah, I understand that it's a little bit fringe. Up smash, I would say up smash is a bit better than the other kind of situational moves because when you land the up smash, it's really it hits way harder than the other ones. Um, there are setups for up smash, down tilt up smash against fast fallers, as mentioned before, is a straight up kill, very easy kill setup. Once you've landed the down tilt rarely gets DI'd properly, so just dashing under and then charging up smash is great. And of course, the sweet spot up smash is really nice too. There's landing this on a floaty is basically the end of the match. If you read movement with against an enemy Puff or Peach and you up smash them and you kill at a very low percent, especially on a small stage, that can be pretty much the game right there. Samus as well, especially if you get the sweet spot up smash on Samus if she misses a grab or dash attacks into you. I've made videos about that before. Even landing one of those, if you kill Samus at 70% with an up smash on FD or something like that, and you basically won the game, all else being equal. And recently, the developments with punishing Marth and Sheik's up recoveries with sweet spot up smash as well is really huge. I wasn't much of a believer until I saw Kalamazoo do it like 3 out of 4 stocks against someone in a tournament not too long ago. That really impressed me, and after doing some practice and tests with it myself, I can see how it works a lot. I understand how it works a lot better, and I'm kind of excited to uh, try and use it more in the future. Of course, as always, you learn these kind of things and then never run into a Sheik or Marth again for like a month. So sadly, that's what happened to me. But I will make a video, I think, about that one, explaining how exactly it works. But it's really good when it lands, but you don't really find too many uses for it. But I think we can find more. For every situation we find a way to land this up smash, especially the sweet spot one, it's amazing. Down smash, one of the best moves in the game. Um, geez, what does this move not do? It's frame 5 and hits on both sides at the same time, which if that's all it did, it would still be one of the best down smashes in the game because there are not many down smashes that even hit on both sides to begin with at the same time. To add on to that, the move hits 5 times and can obviously combo into itself, doing huge amounts of damage. The hitbox is disjointed, and it tends to drag people in from quite far away. It it's very hard to beat this move. The invincible legs of Peach as well, on top of the disjoint, makes it so that this move is basically like extremely dangerous to contest, not just on the ground, but especially underneath on platforms. And that's where it does so much damage. You can't blame Peach players for throwing out platform down smashes because the reward of landing one is so huge. it tends to shield poke. It beats down shields, and then because it pulls you in as well, it tends to both break down the shield and then shield poke, and then usually multi hits after that as well. It's kind of crazy. It has the property of turning you around as well, which is devastating for some characters. And sometimes the most devastating part of the move is being sent off stage facing the wrong way. Some characters like Falcon then are forced to up B when they really don't want to. They can't use their down B, uh, Falcon and Ganondorf, um, and then it makes edge guarding them much simpler, and can even just cost them the stock right there, even at low percents. So it's very devastating to be hit like that. I think that we are, even though it's a bit of a crutch for uh, low level peaches and even mid level peaches, I think we are just going to see better down smashing in the future. I know that sounds funny, but there are ways to land this move in ways that your opponent really doesn't want you to. Power shield down smash is a good example. Peach has got the best move out of power shield in the game because she does not slide very far when her shield is hit, and she's got down smash which hits on both sides, so you don't even have to be thinking which way your opponent has landed. And of course, all the nastiness of down smash that hits them after that. We've got, of course, crouch cancel down smash. That's not really advanced, but I think we'll find ways of crouching more moves, and an ASDI down, of course. And then there's pivot down smash as well. I can foresee situations where you're right in front of your opponent at about dash attack or dash grab range, and they're predicting that you're going to go for either option. So they either crouch to crouch cancel the dash attack, or they spot dodge to predict the grab. But then if you pivot down smash, you've covered both options. You're either going to down smash their crouch, or you're going to down smash their spot dodge, which will win in either case, and could end up being devastating for them. So this move is so extremely good that you don't even need to use it. The fact that Peach has it affects the gameplay of your opponent. You can go an entire match without using this move, but it was still present. The opponent's still. It's like Peach's threat zone around her is because of this move. It makes her so dangerous to be around uh, because she can attack on both sides for so much damage at any time. Amazing move. Speaking of another amazing move, Peach's Nair by itself, I would probably say it's here, but because of the way the game works, and especially Peach's float, this is your all-purpose move, and I would have to rate it above it, because no matter how much your opponent is able to move around or deal with Peach's down smash, they will be getting hit by Nair all the time, and you'll be relying on this move for a good chunk of your gameplay. It is frame 3. It is one of the strongest frame 3 aerials in the game. And because especially the fact that it can be float cancelled, so all of its landing lag can just be removed, and Peach herself can decide when to end that land lag, so she can deliberately keep the hitbox out for a little bit and then land at any point, which is really powerful. And because of float as well, this can be positioned in whichever way Peach chooses. She's not constrained to short hop or full hop heights. She can use both her double jump cancelling ability and her float, and combine those abilities together to hit Nair in all sorts of ways. And it having both the hard hit, the soft hit, the fact that the hitbox is angled in a certain way that keeps her protected very well. The spinning motion makes it so the hitbox is dragging uh, while her hitbox is going into the z-axis. And I can't confirm. I've tried to test this before, but my suspicion is that this creates this kind of disjointed effect where the hitbox is in front of her, but her hand is in the z-axis. and so it works essentially like a disjoint. Um, and yeah, the soft hits lead into each other. It's an excellent edge guard tool. It's an excellent combo breaker and a get off me move. It's notorious that Peach players are just trying to break out of combos with Nair, like the Luigi Nair, and it does work really well. It makes the opponent think about whether or not their combos are legitimate or not, and if not, you can at least break out of it. And sometimes breaking out of it and your opponent not falling for it, it's still better than getting hit. Sometimes you're better off just still throwing out the Nair, even though you know it might still get punished because, well, what else were you going to do anyway? So yeah, that's not obviously not always the best answer, but sometimes you do have to degenerate a little bit with your gameplay to prove your opponent that you're willing to do it. Otherwise, they'll just roll all over you. Um, yeah, excellent move. I feel like I'm missing something, but yeah, it's just so fast and powerful, and combined with float cancelling, it really is just an all-purpose move. Forward air, forward air is excellent, but it really depends on the matchup as well. Uh, it has really high base knockback, which means that it will knock people down at low percent. It sends them very far at low percent, and so it keeps it safe from crouch cancel and holding down, um, and can lead into tech situations straight away. At 0%, it's already a tech for your opponent. Um, Combined with float cancel, it removes all of its landing lag that it would normally have as well, which makes it able to have devastating potential on shield, because your opponent can be stuck into up to +4. You can have a +4 advantage with Peach's forward air if it's spaced correctly, and even when it's not spaced correctly, it's still going to be like +3 to 0, or even -1 is fine, um, because of the threat of Peach's down smash. Opponents kind of have to respect even fake shield pressure from Peach, or weaker shield pressure. Um, when it lands, yeah, you can easily push people off stage if people get knocked. Getting hit off stage with this move is basically death for most characters. Sometimes it's just straight up death for characters on stage. Like we've all landed a random forward air against a Falco at like 60%, and it's just killed him. It's just killed him. Like this bad deal, like you caught him dashing away or something like that. The high base knockback just sends them flying, and then they have no chance of coming back. So it's just a constant threat in a lot of matchups. I think it does fall down a little bit in some other matchups, especially characters like Marth and Puff, um, and Falcon a little bit. It's harder to these characters can just challenge Peach in the air way too much, or way too easily, and your normal float cancel forward air approach is just not as safe against these characters, especially Marth. And so it's not as ubiquitous as the moves in S tier, I would say, but still great. Um, Peach's back air, like her neutral air, but a bit slower and a little bit weaker, but has fantastic hitbox and hurtbox placement, by the way. Peach is very bent away from the hitbox, which keeps her really safe and makes it so that this move uh, tends to beat out other moves really cleanly and trade very often. It's quite hard to beat this move cleanly with a non-disjointed attack from another character. So you will often see this move just smothering opponents. The way that you can wall out, float cancel falling back air blocks a lot of run in or wave dash in from opponents. Um, and and the soft hit combos really easily into other moves. It's kind of like I don't mind. You don't really mind how this hits, as long as it hits. You can kind of adapt to how it hit, and then follow up from there. It's very good for edge guarding as well. Floating at the edge and then just back airing some recoveries over and over again is not uncommon. Uh, Reverse back air combos as well. It's basically just nair facing the other way, but it does have a little bit of other uses as well. Just a fantastic move all around, very versatile. Peach's up air. I think this is an excellent move. It's a bit more situational, but you want to try and find reasons to put this in, to 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 integrate it into your combos as much as possible. Unfortunately, if you're too telegraphed about your up air combos, your opponent will just start holding away. So that means that you do have to start using things like forward air or nair to end your combos early. But if not, up air is the way to go. I think there's a lot of um, people need to start using weak up air more in their combos. I'm not even sure how common knowledge weak up air is with Peach. It was a big part of Armada's combo game to deliberately get weak up airs on his opponent so that he could continue his combo for longer. Another big element of up air that is often not talked about as well is deliberately hitting your opponent on the opposite side so that it makes their DI a little bit off. But that's probably for another video actually. But yeah, up air is like, oh, it's also a fantastic kill move on floaty characters, of course, and it even kills fast fallers, like things like down tilt into up air, or just catching them at the top of the screen falling down. Kills surprisingly early. It's quite powerful. You want to be able to land as many up airs. It combines excellently with float cancel. Just big reward, but it's a bit tough to weave in to your gameplay sometimes. Arguably, it might be higher than forward air actually, but I feel like forward air helps you is a bit more of a better neutral option, whereas up air is just a damage engine and punish kind of machine. Down air, I feel like this move has kind of gone from it's kind of gone in some different directions actually. For a while there in the Armada era, his down air edge guard at the edge of the stage was rarely dealt with appropriately by his opponents. And as they got better at DIing it away or down or whichever, depending on the character, the strength of the move diminished a little bit. But the threat of it's still a kind of a question that you have to pose to your opponent. Like, do you know how to deal with this situation? And then if you do, then let me throw something else at you. Because if you don't know, then down air is just going to lead into a net and just straight up kill whoever's trying to recover. Against Falco, you can just down air, and if they DI away from it, you can just run off stage and nair. And I wish more Peaches did that because I feel like they extend the edge guard against Falco for unnecessarily long. Like they already have the kill, but they're dragging it out for some reason when they could just run off stage and then double jump cancel, float, kill him with nair. I mean, it's there's other recoveries that you can down air this with as well. Recently, Lod showed that DK's recovery is extremely susceptible to Peach's down air, and that's a character that really can't risk dropping any lower to try again. So he has to just eat the move over and over again, down air nair, down air nair. It's quite difficult to land on Marth, but you can land this on Marth in two different ways. You can land it the traditional way where you kind of move in and down air his up B, which is quite difficult to do. Somehow Armada was able to land it like pretty consistently, which is amazing because my success rate with it has never been anywhere near as good. But he also had the method of kind of full jumping and then landing down with down air into a down smash, which was very hard to tech because the opponent might have to predict a possible forward air landing, and if they could have teched for the, the potential forward air rather than the down air, which locks them out of the down smash, and then so there's plays like that as well. I think also in neutral, this move has a surprising mix-up potential. There's certain characters that can get pinned down in the air if you're floating at them at around short hop height or even full hop height, and then down airing towards them. They can't deal with it too well, especially if they're expecting a different move like forward air or neutral air. The down air allows you a little bit more control and being a little bit of a nuisance in their zone, especially hitting it on shield. If you're landing it on shield, you can mix it up with two down airs and then decide on the second down air whether or not you want to land or continue aerial pressure. And then if you do decide to land, you can land behind your opponent and down smash, which some characters are really bad at dealing with, like Sheik and Falcon. They tend to want to hold shield against Peach when she comes in like that because they probably feel like they can just either, you know, hold their shield. But then as soon as you land behind them, then they can you can just down smash, and they have to deal with the potential of being clipped by down air, and then their shield being hit by down smash or clipped from the combo of the down air into the down smash if any of that connects. I think Bladewise discussed the potential of using down air and neutral against Falcon at some point, and whenever I do seem to throw it out, it does work. There's also a situation with Marth where if you float cancel down air, I think I made a video about it a while back about the shield pokes, but you can down air at ground height and move into Marth, and he can't shield it. He gets shield poked every time by down air on the ground. And so if you predict a movement from Marth, let's say he rolls in a certain way, and normally you might try and pursue it with neutral air, which he would try and block by buffering a shield input. If you instead move into him with down air, and then he tries to shield, you'll get the shield poke every time. So I think there's some potential like that, maybe with a few other characters as well with down air. There's also some potential with, landing with down air. I'm really going on about down air right now, but I think there's some hidden stuff with this move. Just falling down with down air, I've found that if you clip certain characters while you're falling, you can immediately convert it into a back air, neutral air, or even up air. Especially if you still have your double jump, you can kind of like fall down. If Falco is trying to, catch you with an up air and then he misses, and you fall down on him with down air and then up air him or something like that as you're falling, that can lead into some good stuff. And also, Armada did talk about the potential. He never got to prove it because this was in the very late part of just before he retired. But he talked about experimenting with the idea of punishing no DI with down air. So in the situation where you might do reverse back air into neutral air, if you instead did jump down air, which feels totally counterintuitive to do, by the way. I tried doing this for a bit, and my muscle memory of took over, and I couldn't bring myself to just do a jumping down air. It felt very strange. But if you do a jump down air, the idea is that your opponent may be expecting reverse back air and then will do no DI, but then they just get caught in the down air instead, and then you can finish it with an air. So there's some ideas there. I haven't really got any evidence to prove that one, but it's a nice thought. Peach's grab. I don't think I can really rate this as a move, so I'm probably not going to do. I will talk about it a little bit though. Peach's throws are all very good. So and her throws, her different throws are threatening to every character in different ways, which therefore makes her grab a threat as well. So she's got a high grab, but not too high. The only thing that's really a problem is Sheik and Puff crouching it, and you don't really tend to dash grab attempt. You don't really make a dash grab attempts on Puff anyway. In fact, Puff's muscle memory of crouching tends to work in Peach's favor because you can just down smash that. Um, but Sheik sometimes you'll have that situation where Sheik crouches under your grab, but once again, dash grabbing Sheik is like not that common of a of an option. Usually, you're doing it when you're pretty convinced. I think generally the fact that Peach's down smash prevents these crouches from attempting that kind of stuff. But the situation seems to rarely come up in my experience. It does come up, especially against Sheik, but not that often. So the high grab also means that if people are doing some kind of rising aerial, that Peach can grab them out of the air, like Falco doing Falco doing some kind of rising down air or something like that, short hop down, like that kind of stuff can be shield grab by Peach because of a relatively high shield grab, and also her relatively high grab also enables chain grabbing as well, which is also pretty nice. Okay. Also, just as the last thing, because Peach's dash attack is so good, um, it's nice that that kind of empowers her grab as well because it means that you have a threatening option of okay, if you don't shield, you get hit by dash attack, but if you do shield, I've got my grab as well. So it's nice that they um, complement each other like that. Forward throw. This is a very good part of. Whew, having a kill throw is extremely powerful, and the fact that uh, this is a forward facing kill throw is probably the best kind of. I mean, an up throw is really good. Like Mewtwo's up throw is really really good, but having a forward throw is probably the next best thing because you tend to be pushing people to the edge. Like as an aggressive option, you are probably doing this near the edge anyway, especially at kill percents if you're in an advantage state. So it's really nice having a kill forward throw. It's really nice having an option where your shield grab against an opponent on a high percent will guarantee the kill, especially at percents like 130 plus, and sometimes lower depending on the stage and positioning on the stage. Um, Also, Peach's forward throw. Now, I'm pretty sure about this. This is kind of arcane knowledge, but I sometimes doubt old knowledge if I might be mixing it up with something else. But I believe Peach's forward throw ignores the character's weight, so um, the all characters basically die at the same kind of percent, but of course their weight, sorry, their fall speed is what affects it. So you end up with this kind of weird situation where this move kind of destroys heavy floaty characters like Samus, because if you get catch her on away DI, she dies at really low percents, especially near the edge of small stages. But also, if she tries to DI up, she'll die off the top. Against other heavy characters like Falcon, if you surprise F throw him near the edge, he can die at the same percentages, really low percentages, even despite his weight. But he can leverage his fall speed to make himself survive for a long time if he gets the DI vertically. Um, there is also kind of the opposite situation where this move just is very bad at killing Puff. You'll notice that even at high percents, you would think that this would kill, but because once again the weight is kind of ignored, she tends to just be able to survive just fine, unless she DIs too high up. But it doesn't really seem to happen, and you get so few grabs against Puff anyway. Um, but it's just nice to be able to have this kind of guaranteed kill because past a certain percentage, everyone dies to this move. Its knockback scaling is just very good. Um, it's also got just good potential to just get people off stage at like mid percent range, and at 0% you can do a little bit of funky regrab, forward throw regrab, or forward throw dash attack, stuff like that. It's not quite true, but it's such a rare situation that your opponent probably won't know what to do most of the time, and you should be able to maintain some kind of advantage in that situation. Back throw. I mean, it does its job. It gets them off the stage. It's also the most damaging of Peach's throws. Um, the best part about this one is back throwing faster falling characters and then being able to engage in like a pressure scuffle near the edge of the stage. And usually in that kind of situation, especially in a high stakes situation, your opponent has a really high chance of making mistakes. And you can often find that a back throw into like one good read or even one good reaction can take the stock. So it's high base knockback pretty much guarantees that you can always get that started if you do get a grab in that kind of a situation, which is really nice. There's not really much else to say about it. It's just good for that getting people off the stage if you don't really have any other combo move that you can get on them at the time. Uh, Up throw. Whew, I think I would put it at the bottom of A tier just because of how important this move is against the fast fallers uh, and Fox and Falco in particular. Against Falcon, the chain grab does not last for very long at all, despite what some people still seem to think. But it always guarantees a follow up, which is nice. Against Fox and Falco, this of course can lead to really long combos. Even with platforms, if your platform double jump land tech chases are good, you can get just as brutally long chain grabs on tri-platform stages with Peach's up throw. Um, yeah, there's up throw down smash at 0%, up throw any other follow up, chain grab at mid percent, and then up throw neutral air at high percents. There's a whole bunch of other variety follow ups you can do at higher percents as well. Even up throw up air kills. And it doesn't just end with those three characters, though Fox, Falco, and Falcon. Up throw combos some of the other faster falling characters that I mean we don't talk about too much, but characters like DK, Ganon, Roy. Um, I think Link. There are some characters that basically it does work and it's very hard to get out of. And then it also, I believe, it does decently against Sheik as well, and it's something that I wish more Peaches read up on and uh, knew their what's the word data for on when you can up throw aerial Sheik because you can up throw up air kill Sheik on at some percentages. You can up throw back air and a nair I think as well at different percent ranges. I think it's a little bit port dependent, but the port dependency just means that it's uh, that even when they couldn't technically escape, it's still kind of risky for them. Even if you up throw Sheik and then she is able to jump out of the up air follow up, she still has to land, which is great for you because her landing options are not very good, and then you just have to get one good hit, and then you could be taking the stock off that. So I think Peach players need to be looking at up throw follow ups on Sheik better. I think there's also some situations against Marth as well to up throw him. Center stage up throws, once again, like it's kind of in that range of you can sometimes follow up with an up air against Marth if he doesn't decide to jump out or if he's too slow with his jump out. And then once again, if he doesn't, it's the same kind of situation. The difference with Marth is that down throw is usually more consistent and what most people will go with. Down throw is kind of your mid weight and floatier character punish tool because if they do no DI, you can either neutral air, down smash, or turn around regrab, depending on percents and characters. And then if they DI behind you, you can dash attack. It's not entirely consistent, but it's consistent enough that you can pretty much depend on it. There's some characters that may be able to retaliate if they do no DI and you're not careful, especially if you hesitate with what you're going to do after they do no DI. But there's also counterplays to that as well. Like you can just, in the case of Luigi or Peach, you can just shield their nair or even power shield down smash it if you're really ready for it, and things like that. So yeah, down throw even against fast fallers, uh, it's ideal to at low percent down throw them near the edge of the stage, and then go into a tech chase situation because down throwing them near the edge, but not close enough to the edge that they can just fall off the stage. Uh, you should be able to. It's very limited on where they can go, and then you should be able to cover the likely options and react from there. I think it's one of those technically reactable, but the situation comes up so rarely that, well, not that rare, but it's rare enough that you may forget what to do, even if you've practiced it in time. But still not too bad. It's definitely worth going for because up throw under a platform near the edge of the stage at early percents is pretty much never going to lead it to anything, even if the opponent doesn't know how to slide off or anything like that. But yeah, down throw just solid against most of the rest of the cast as just a little bit of a two-hit combo with down throw into whatever. I'm not going to rate these get up attacks, but I will just talk about them. Peach's get up attack off the ground is really ordinary. Unfortunately, it doesn't have practically any protection for above, like some other get up attacks do. Like Falcon's got really good protection from above, and so you'll have situations where some opponents will jump above you as you are using your get up attack and punish. It also doesn't have very good disjoint, like Marth's one, so there's not really anything surprising. It actually kind of matches the way that she's lying on the ground, really. So there's no any kind of burst hitbox that comes out, unfortunately. Her get up attack from the ledge, though, is actually really good. It's one of the fastest ones in the game. This one here. Uh, there's like three characters. It's Bowser, and then DK, and then Peach have substantially faster ledge attacks than all the rest of the cast, who are, I think, all have the same kind of get up attack. But for some reason, those three characters have much faster and much better get up attacks, and we're glad for it too, given Peach's um, uh, bad, generally bad ledge options. Having this ledge attack is actually a really big deal, um, because anyone who is even remotely unprepared near the edge can easily just be knocked away by that move. This other one is pretty bad. You can throw it in as a rare mix-up every now and again. It has super low profile, so that has something going for it, and reaches really far. It also looks like one of her other get-up options over 100%, but that this whole discussion about ledge options is definitely another video that I'd like to go into at some point. Okay, Toad. This is definitely better than. I actually use Toad, so it's better than Up Tilt. But rarely. There's some situations that I can think of where you might want to use Toad. It as a once in 100 game kind of thing where you are double jumping back to the stage and you are almost certain that your opponent is going to try and hit you out of it. You throw it out once and then you put it away for another 100 games. It does surprisingly good damage, which is interesting, but sadly you can't follow it up most of the time because even if your opponent gets hit by it, the lag of Peach putting Toad back away means that your opponent tends to actually recover about as fast as you do, and so it kind of really amounts to not much other than the damage. Um, it Yeah, so you can use it for that. You can use it for really predictable attacks like um, an enemy Peach Turnip, I guess, or a Samus missile. Fun fact is that if Samus missiles the Toad and then shields the spores, it will break her shield. It has crazy shield damage for some reason, which you almost never see.
I could see it being as a super call out to like a Falco laser, just as a. I mean, these are all just gimmick. The only reason you would ever do this is to kind of fluster your opponent for 1 second, but it cannot ever be like relied on. That's why it's kind of a 1 in 100 kind of super X factor option. Um, and yeah, so that's it. The sad thing about why it doesn't really work that well when you try and use it when recovering back to the stage, like double jumping back onto stage and using Toad, is that because Peach likes to air dodge so much, your opponent is often trained to wait out the air dodge. And so instead of air dodging, you've toaded, which is kind of the same thing at the end of the day. Like you've stopped in air for a moment and disabled yourself, and your opponent is just waiting for the air dodge, but instead you've toaded, and so they're like, oh, okay, well I'll just hit that then instead. Um, so that's why it always feels like when you toad, or when I toad at least, uh, your opponent mysteriously decides not to attack at that time. Uh, there's another. I mean, I guess there's the niche usage of stalling in the air or using it to turn yourself around. There's, I guess, some potential in choosing to recover backwards so that you can use back air instead of forward air to land. But I don't think that that's so much better that you should be doing that consistently. And it would be hard to tell when exactly to do that. I don't. I mean, prove me wrong on that one. I could see maybe a future where peaches are recovering high backwards every time so that they can back air instead of forward air on the way down. Maybe. Um, Peach Bomber, I think it's better than Toad because I feel like I would feel its loss. If Peach didn't have Peach Bomber, uh, you wouldn't be able to bomber recover, and that could be the difference of a stock, and that comes up a lot more often than Toad. In fact, arguably, this comes up more often than F tilt or forward smash, but the Peach Bomber is pretty much exclusively used to recover on stages with a large kind of wall section, like Fountain of Dreams, especially, but also Yoshi Story and Pokemon Stadium. It's easiest on FOD. It comes up the most on uh, Yoshi Story, though, but it's much easier to edge guard her when she's doing it on Yoshi Story. Most characters can hit her out of it. Not all though, not all though. Some characters it's far too risky for them to go down and hit her while she's recovering that way. And also, it kind of combines pretty well with Randall's appearance as well, because you can kind of use it to stall out until he appears. So you don't have to go for the edge; you can go for Randall as well. Um, and on FD sometimes as well, you can go for a really deep edge guard, and then you need to use one or two bombers to be able to parasol back to the ledge. So that's definitely a thing. Um, but yeah, there is one trick on FD where you need to actually combine. It's a very rare situation where you need to use both Toad and Peach Bomber to recover, because Toad is the safest way to break out of tumble, so that you can still move into float and then float towards the pillar on FOD and then or Stadium, and recover that way, so you can still conserve your double jump, and make it past the lip on both of those stages. So uh, yeah, you do use these. Unlike up tilt, I mean, arguably up tilt should be in a tier lower than this because it at least the other moves have some kind of function that you have to use sometimes, um, or you should use. You should learn how to use bomber. Um, Bomber recovery. But I guess there's the tilt bomber. Well, here's the other thing. Like even with the reverse tilt bomber stuff, like one of my gimmicky videos that I've made, that gimmick is still, in theory, better than anything that up tilt has ever offered because reverse bomber is actually kind of legitimate if you have the presence of mind to see it like being set up because it does lead, it's good damage and it pulls people back into you, which can lead into all sorts of combos. So I think there might actually be some other situations, by the way. I experimented with edge guarding Sheik
when she's doing her crouching animation, when she's standing up from her up B, you can smash bomber or tilt bomber that, and it reverses and can either send her straight back off stage or set her up for a combo, depending on however you've decided to mix up that thing. And I did. The problem was, and it's always the case, that you need live test subjects for this kind of thing, and of course, hoping to run into a Sheik, it always ends up with you never seeing a Sheik again for the next month. It feels like. So if anyone has a regular Sheik practice partner, you can always give that a test. Uh, Parasol, one of the best recoveries in the game. I think a lot of characters would kill to have this up B, and a lot of them would be substantially better characters if they had a recovery this good. Um, I guess I have to talk about this in two different ways. Its usage as a recovery tool and as an attack. Uh, Peach's up B allows her to recover high, which is I mean, she doesn't even need it to recover high, which is kind of insane. Like, I think people really just forget how good Peach's recovery is. I'm kind of shocked when people like don't name her right at the top, because the fact that you can just recover so high completely avoids all sorts of edge play shenanigans uh, against against kind of bad players. It's funny when you're recovering really high and they're grabbing the edge, and you're just kind of soaring past them right like miles away, but they're so ledge brained that they've never had to deal with this kind of recovery before because they're so used to playing other characters, and or well, maybe even Peaches that don't even recover high. I don't know, but it complements your good DI as well. So if you've got good DI with Peach, you can always come in from a very high angle, use your and if you have to use your up B, the juking potential of her aerial mobility going side to side, but also up and down, plus the protection of the parasol itself, which can be kind of flicked open to cover at the front and above. And despite the fact that it has quite a small hitbox, it really doesn't feel like it. It feels like that little circle. It's only a tiny little circle above her, but it seems to put in real work in protecting her from above and in front. Um, and like even the little clip, like you clip people on the way down, you can lead it straight into a down smash and things like that. Um, yeah, so it's just deceptively hard to edge guard. And Peach herself doesn't really even mind getting hit again. She can tank a few hits out of Parasol and keep recovering. Um, I even heard some commentary joking the other day about, you just hit Peach out of a recovery and she just gets to recover higher and higher. So you think you're edge guarding her, but you're just kind of making it easier for her to get back on the stage. It's just one of the pluses of the character in general. As an attack, I think out of shield, it's a really good get off me move. It can sometimes fail if you get too jittery with people moving around your shield. You get the idea of using up the outer shield in your mind, and then they don't come close enough, and then you're kind of a little bit exposed. But fortunately, there's enough mobility in the parasol that even if you miss the up B, you can kind of make it work somehow by even using it as an attack, or by like moving into them and flicking it open just before you land to threaten parasol down smash, or just moving away safely. Um, but it can work as a get off me tool. It can also work as a aerial trade tool, especially against Falco. If you see him coming down at you, and this is kind of a good example of why, even Parasol is better than up tilt in that situation. If you Parasol as Falco's coming down, the moves kind of trade. Peach gets put back onto the ground. Falco gets put in hit stun, and you can just combo him off that trade. So you can deliberately go for it just to cause that. It only works at lower percents because otherwise you have to tech it. But I think even then you're doing all right. I think there's great potential in. I mean, you can parasol combo as well. Doesn't land too often. People's Smash DI has gotten a lot better lately, so it's kind of hard to land a parasol combo on people. But I don't think it's actually that bad to finish some combos with Parasol and get the extra damage at the end. I know some Peach players think that that's just not worth going for because maybe it's too risky or whatever, but
Uh, I don't know. I think sometimes you got to take the extra damage and just finish with something, especially against floaty characters, because you can often hit a floaty character as a with the up B and then land before they can even get close to landing themselves. So I do think it's worth checking people on platforms as well. If you got top platform campers, it's not a bad idea, especially on Yoshi's, to check them every now and again by poking them with Parasol to keep them from being too comfortable in that kind of a situation. And Turnip is fantastic. Um, it is one of the best projectiles in the game. It's definitely one of the most versatile projectiles in the game. It's an essential part of Peach's game plan, again, in certain matchups, and it's useful in every matchup as well. I think it's actually becoming even more useful in some matchups that we didn't think too much on. Honestly, Turnip itself probably deserves its own video because I would like to go into a breakdown of how to use Turnip in every matchup for Peach. But um, yeah, Turnip, it's it's good, amazing for edge guarding. The idea that you can just throw a whole bunch of turnips at someone as they're trying to recover, and even if one lands, it generally, for practically every character in the game, will just kill them out of their recovery. It's really meddlesome to some characters' recoveries, especially slower ones. Um, and then there's the potential of using it as just a neutral tool. It's super effective against wave dash characters or dash dance characters because the amount of space it takes up in their range forces them to then have to start shielding when they don't want to. And then because it bounces on their shield, it then creates it kind of creates two walls: the initial wall of the turnip threat, and then the second wall that prevents them from acting in ways they might like after it hits. Um, and it's not inconsequential to be hit by random turnips as well because they have a knockback growth that you can start getting pushed off stage by them. Peach then gains more stage control, gets to pull more turnips to push you closer to the edge, and then any one of these could be a stitch face or a bomb or something like that as well, and then just completely take the stock, which also helps Peach be protected from the idea that the opponent could just use their moves to beat the turnips. Because if someone's strategy, there's some characters like especially Puff likes to use her aerials to just drift through turnips. But if they don't notice you've got a stitch face, you just take the stock because they're not paying attention, or they think they can just pass through any turnips. So that's nice too. Um, yeah, essentially in some important matchups like Marth and Puff especially, crushes some low tiers just lose to turnip alone. Like I think Bowser just dies to turnip exclusively, and a whole bunch of other low tiers as well. Just get melted by the power of turnip. Um, it also works as like a damage uh, amp. You kind of throw opponents in the air. You hit them both with turnip and then a follow up aerial. So essentially, it's like you've hit them with like a plus 50% damage aerial attack. Um, yeah, the combo potential of the move. The fact that Peach can float and attack with turnips at the same time. Like she's the best item user in the game, basically, because of the fact that she can still use her floating attacks while holding the turnip, which kind of creates a really good mix up in those matchups where the opponent is expecting you to throw turnip and then you're just going in with aerials or you're balling them out with aerials and because they've tried to go in. So that's really good too. Just so much potential. I mean, we've barely unlocked the potential of the Z drop turnips as well, which there's plenty to go on there. But yeah, turnip is essential, and there's certain matchups where it's seeing even more use. And I'd like to talk about that one a bit more in a separate video because I think it's definitely very interesting. But I think that about sums it up. And having a look at the list, I don't think I would make too many changes, honestly. I mean, there are some things I might switch around, like, I think these two moves are about as good as each other. These two moves are probably about as good as each other. Um, I could absolutely see arguments that people might have to put forward air, up air, or jab into the higher tier, but I think most people would agree that uh, the moves in the higher tier are kind of like either really like bread and butter in terms of you're going to be attacking with back air and neutral air constantly and relying on them to secure kills. You're going to be relying on down smash to keep you safe, and it's just the reward and the power of it is just so extreme. And turnips are essential in some matchups and so powerful in edge guards. And dash attack as well is like sometimes the only move that can land in certain spots, but like makes her dash dance actually threatening and the combo potential. Whereas these moves are just a little bit more. Yeah, sometimes you can't really land them, or they don't really hit as hard in every single matchup. Um, and yeah, the rest of these moves, sorry, were a lot more situational. Uh, and yeah, that about sums it up. I would like to see some more potential ideas with up smash, forward smash, and F tilt. I don't think we'll really see anything out of these moves, and I would probably advise, especially beginner Peach mains, to just if you're a beginner Peach main, you probably should just ignore up smash and below. I'd ignore up smash and below and just focus on the S tier moves and A tier moves mainly. And even then, you could probably break that down even less. Um, but yeah, that about sums it up. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you like this kind of stuff, let me know. I have actually quite a lot of things I would wish to talk about, and I hope people don't mind me just going on and on about Peach for I don't even know how long this video has been going on for, but enjoy, and I shall catch you later.